1340 KVGC on the phone with us, Douglas Viviani from Everything Old is New Again, every Saturday night at 6 o'clock and Sundays at 6. Douglas and his friend, cohort, co-host, longtime pal, huh?
Yes, we go back to high school, and that's over 30 years, believe it or not.
David Cohen is the man we're talking about. They host the show called Everything Old is New Again, and well, you don't every week Douglas and I go over a little outline of what we're going to talk about, and I don't see something's missing from the outline.
It couldn't be a four-letter word, could it be? Starting with M and ending with S.
Hey, I am sorry. I was pulling for the Mets more than you were. It's my hat's off to the Royals. I mean, they have terrific fans, and what a team. But it's hard when you struggle and you think you're a team of destiny, which everybody does, right? Yeah.
And it is a surprise. It really was a surprise season for them because they didn't expect to go this far. It's still kind of rebuilding, and thought we needed a couple more pieces. And just when you're there and you just almost get the bite of the apple, you gets pulled out from under you. And the way it happened was dramatic with the different things, with Harvey wanting to stay in the game. If you saw that, I don't know.
Yeah.
And to the ninth inning, he pitched a great game to the eighth. In the ninth inning, he got himself into trouble and lost that game. It was the last game of the series and so forth. So it was hard to take, but you know what? That's what sports are, and 29 out of 30 teams are losing every year. So in some way, you got to learn that from sports. That's what it's about. You pick yourself up and go back to it. Look what the Royals did. I mean, they lost last year and came back with a vengeance this year and won it.
You know, I was thinking about it, and I can remember I was in, must have been 8th grade. I think it was the 8th grade. It was the year of the Amazing Mets. And we watched it, I can remember the teacher. I don't know if we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but the teacher who was a man teacher, and we wheeled the TV into the classroom and we watched the
good
game.
Old 1969 with Tommy Agee making that catch and Leon Jones, and oh boy, that team was one of those teams. Boy, they really came out of nowhere, and Ron Swoboda, if you remember, making that catch, and this team was beyond description, and what excitement, and that's what they did back then. Now I think kids just use their iPhones and under the desk they pull up the scores. Although they don't even play during the day anymore. So exactly. So that's what we postulated a little ways back. We talked about baseball on our show, and we were like, well, they're just not catering to the fans. I mean, why? That's a tremendous memory. Why not have games during the day, at least on a Saturday and a Sunday during the World Series and the playoffs, to bring kids into it? You get these games in New York. These games are going till 1, 2 in the morning.
Sure. Well, Money. That's what it's called there.
That's why I focus and turn my attention to Everything Old is New Again, and it doesn't disappoint every week.
I saw this. I saw this. It was an online story. I read it, and I said, I've got to give Douglas a call. And I almost did, and I said, he's a busy guy. He doesn't want to hear from a lowly old, media mogul in California.
Especially with this news, if anyone has not heard, news of news, Star Trek is going to be debuting in 2017, a brand new series with new characters, continuing the voyage, going where no person and no one has gone before, and they're going to be the first show is going to be broadcast on the CBS network, and then they're going to this pay service they call CBS All Access, which I think all stations are starting to go to now. There's sort of a Netflix kind of station where you can only get shows that were broadcast in the past and now and on CBS there. So it's subscription video. So that's great for Star Trek, I think, because it's not necessarily syndicated the old way. I think people will subscribe to this, and this might run for quite some time.
This is I think this is kind of an indication. Now, here's a large network, CBS, okay, one of the big three, if there is such a thing as large networks anymore, because everything is so fragmented. But they're going to, quote, all access to online viewing. My wife and I have talked about this a lot. I don't know how if you have cable or if you have Dish or Direct, but we had Dish, and then AT&T, the phone company here in California, bundled up with Direct. So we thought, well, okay, we'll bundle everything together, which was a huge mistake. Right. Folks out there, don't do it. Don't do it. So we left Dish, went with Direct, and it just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And I said, you know what, Teresa? Why don't we just – because we watch, like, for example – I fell asleep last night before the Blacklist was even on. Okay, I'll watch it today during lunch.
Right.
So why do I not even subscribe? Why don't I just watch the Blacklist on Fridays instead of Thursdays, or Sleepy Hollow on Fridays, or the shows I watch on Monday, Gotham, watch them on Tuesday? Why do I even pay? The only thing, Douglas, is baseball, football. The tickets like that. Those don't come free.
And DirecTV has a great package for the sports. So you can get if you're a fan of out of the network, as you say, if you're in New York, you want to follow a team in California, you can follow every game on TV on DirecTV.
So where I'm going is they must know something we don't know.
Exactly.
Because
most people, the youth, they're pulling up television on demand. You'll ask them. Lots of people, cable subscriptions and direct and so forth are down. That's why the cost is going up economically. And I think what's happening is everybody wants their show on demand when they can. They're taping it anyway on DVRs or whatever. So another thing to acknowledge here: this is not one of these goofy, kind of side shows or original show like Daredevil. That not to put it down, because Daredevil was a tremendous show, but I'm saying it was created by unknown people, unknown actors, and they're trying to promote it and so forth. This is a show. Now, of course, everyone knows Star Trek, but this is a show that's going to be executive produced and written by Alex Kurtzman, who is behind the first two movies with his partners, of course, but he also is behind Fringe, Sleepy Hollow, Scorpion, Hawaii Five-0. So these are very well-known, popular, successful shows.
Sure.
This fella is top of his game right now, so it's the Spielberg of TV, kind of, that kind of a thing, getting involved with this show. So it's not like a goof and it's a low budget and they're just going to throw it on. This is top-of-the-line show that they're putting on there on demand. So I agree with you. Something's going on, and I think it's the future of TV is on demand, and that's where we're going. And, again, going where no one has gone before. So
the only Star Trek franchise, the only part of the franchise I didn't really like, and I watched it. I watched it religiously because I've watched it from the very beginning. Was Deep Space Nine. I couldn't get in. I don't know. That wasn't. And then Enterprise, the latest one. That the technology, the ship was better than the original Enterprise, which is hundreds of years past the beginning of this one. And I don't know. I would have made it a little bit more and I know why they did it. It's it's TV, but
Enterprise, to take that one first, to me, if you watch the third and fourth season, they had a different executive producer. They got Manny Cotto, a different writer, and he was again Manny Cotto, and he paid homage to and was aware of the original series. Brought back some of those villains. Where did they come from? The different characters and so forth. And it explored the backstory of the Vulcans and all this. Yeah. And it was wonderful. But by then it had lost half its audience because when it started, it was so dark and they wanted to be like a submarine. But, the colors were dark and it just wasn't attractive that way, visually. And as far as Deep Space Nine, I agree with you 100%. I have friends that we go to these Star Trek conventions. They have the exact opposite opinion because their opinion is that it's completely different than anything else. But to me, it was more like a soap opera. I didn't like really any of the characters. Maybe once in a while, a couple of them you'd identify with some of the stories, but it really wasn't. It wasn't fun, and that's what I like to see about Star Trek is the fun and the experience of. Hey, what if you've got a culture that doesn't have any arms whatsoever, but they're having a war, and it's very neat. You just have, if you're on a map, and if you've been pigeonholed, if you've been attacked, you go to this machine and you die, and the war continues forever because it's so clean it doesn't destroy society. What happens? So just as an example, it's fun and great psychological evaluation of cultures and what we could do to improve ourselves in the social commentary, and they're going to get back to that with this show, from what I understand. So that's going to be great.
Douglas, this has nothing to do with this morning's show, but I came to work today. I wear readers, okay? I don't have prescription glasses. I left them at home, and I have like 20 pair all around, and I actually have a brand new box of them here at the station. So I go, oh, shoot. So I grabbed a pair out, put them on, and for the last 20 minutes here, I've been going, God, I'm getting macular degeneration. I'm seeing floaters on my left eye. What's going on here? I forgot to take the 175 sticker off the lens. Now I can see crystal clear out of my left eye. So,
well, it's either a miracle or you finally saw the light, one way or the other.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, I wish him well. I hope that it's, like I say, I'm an original Star Trek person, but I really, the next generation would be, and then the other one, the one with I can't, the woman captain.
Oh,
Kate.
yeah, right, Voyager.
Voyager. I liked Voyager.
Yeah.
Voyager was kind of, I liked that. I was sad when it went off the air, but Deep Space Nine, you can keep it. So
I agree.
Anyway, moving ahead, what else is on your mind this morning?
Well, I don't know. It's just interesting that Halloween is over. I don't know how yours was. Ours was a lot of fun. And then now you look at the television, you look at everything. It seems like they're skipping over Thanksgiving to get to Christmas.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, because KVGC is advertising a little something called a Christmas to Remember, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is. It looks like it's
you don't know what
a charity.
You don't know what a Christmas to Remember is?
No, believe it or not.
Have you ever read up on it?
No.
Well, it's something that we started about 20 years ago, and in this time we've raised over $1.5 million, and this isn't pledges, this is cash money. Wow. And for 2 days, I go to the Jackson Creek Plaza, and we'll stay there from 6 in the morning to 6 at night, and we have other sites, we have other, like the Lions Club and the Rotary and other groups that help us. They'll be different, and people just drive up and give us $1 or $5 or $10, or maybe there's some large checks from other groups or organizations. And then we take that money. Then the following week, the kids who have been identified by the schools as children in need of warm winter clothing, we take them to Kmart, and Kmart here gives us an additional 10% discount. So we're able to buy the kids shoes, socks, a complete wardrobe,
And the kids get to. This is kind of unique.
What we do is we have peer counselors, from the high school and other, adults. There's a list. They have a list. You need to buy socks, underwear, a pants, shirt, a coat, and no toys, no gifts, no nothing like that.
So they could pick out their own, within reason, I'm sure, their own clothes.
So like a teenager takes, like they'll take 2 kids with them, and they'll go, okay, you need a coat, pick out a coat. Okay, I'll take this one, and nothing would.
That's great. Wow, what a terrific venture there. You've been doing that for so long. It sounds
we help about we do about between 700 and 800 kids a year on whatever we can, in a county, as Amador and Calaveras counties altogether are about 60,000 people. So within this, we're able to raise that much money every year. And
what if someone wants to donate that's just listening now, for example? I mean, you send a check, or is it an online service?
Check. You can send a check, or you can do. It's the good part about this thing is the simplistic part of it. It's just we're like the biggest do nothing group. We just show up. I mean, we have a foundation where we're 501c3. We show up that morning, set up the tent, take it down in 2 days, and go. And then we spend the money the next week on the kids, and all the money it goes. And there's no administrative cost. The members of the foundation. There's I think 6 of us. We pay for any insurance or any mailing, any postage. All the money goes. Yes, you can make a donation with a Visa or MasterCard, or you can send a check in. And there's
where? Do you have it handy or no?
Yeah, you can send it to Post Office Box 609, Jackson, California 95642.
95642.
Yep, and we'll get it.
Okay, terrific. That's all right. It's on my list.
Hey, listen, we're starting to run out of time here, but. So what's up with Everything Old is New Again? Where are we this week with the show?
Second of 3 shows on the late-night talk shows. I mean, after 60 years, the king of late-night TV is still The Tonight Show. But this week we're going to turn our attention to the Contenders to see those shows that have challenged The Tonight Show through those 60 years. And we'll award the Civil Medal in the second place to the runners-up which I think is going to go to David Letterman, but we go through all of it. Believe it or not, Jerry Lewis had a Tonight Show, type of Tonight Show. Joan Rivers, of course, Merv Griffin, Joey Bishop, and then to today there's Jimmy Kimmel, Steve Colbert, who I despise, and it goes on. So we'll go through that, and we're going to have a lot of fun with
I think a couple of weeks ago I heard you and David, and I think you were, in fact, I don't even see my boy on the list here, and I think you were talking down on him. You were talking smack on him. Conan O'Brien. I mean, I think Conan O'Brien is hilarious. Yeah. And I think Conan O'Brien got the big, got the shaft put to him.
He did, and that's a good point. I actually have him in the late night discussion from the 2 weeks ago, The Tonight Show, of course, because that's where, he eventually ventured to. But you're exactly right, because before The Tonight Show, and of course now, he's not part of The Tonight Show. He's part of the adversary, if you will, or the alternative. So we will be discussing him as well this weekend. He's a unique guy, and I do think he's fun, but no one even knows that he's on at 10 o'clock on TBS. I mean, it's not in the vernacular, It's not something that's really the tip of the tongue, and we try to examine why is that, because he is funny, and he came from The Simpsons and was a writer, so he's very creative. And he does creative stuff. I really do like him as well. I kind of went on him a little bit, but I also then this week we'll talk, I think last week as well, a little bit about Letterman. I put him down a little bit. I really do like Letterman, but I got tired of him towards the end. So I think I'm going to kind of get Dave's ire up with that, because Dave's a huge Letterman fan. So look for the fireworks. It should be fun.
Douglas Viviani, everything old is new again. We're not going to go into it because we've run out of time, but I'm sure that your kids, I bet you Leo is knee deep in candy. And did you sift through Angelica's and take any special candies out of there from her? Or?
We sure do, and I've got a big bag of candy still in the closet at this point that once in a while I dig into. But it was funny because I tried to do something nice for Angelica, and I in her lunch the day after Halloween, I put in, or that Monday after, I put into her lunch a little bag of M&Ms, has like 10 little M&Ms in it, and it came back unopened, and she got into trouble because she's not allowed to bring candy into school anymore. God forbid. So I got into trouble. I got her into trouble by giving her a little treat of M&Ms. So I give that to her when she gets home from school instead.
What is the world come? We could do a whole show on that. I know you can't have sodas. Can't have. It has to be. I don't know. Never mind.
It makes me crazy. Like, come on, it's 10 little stinking M&Ms. Let the kid have it. But it's right after Halloween. But she literally got into, quote, trouble because of it. It's not the first time Dad's going to get her into trouble. I can get you that.
Yeah, right. Heaven forbid. Tell her not to say Merry Christmas in school.
Right, exactly.
She'll be expelled till Easter. So anyway, Douglas Viviani and David Cohen, everything old is new again, every Saturday and Sunday nights at 6 o'clock. Right here on 1340 KVGC. Douglas, have a great weekend and a great week ahead.
Thanks. You too. Live long and prosper.